I got a little bit of a different video to show you guys today. I really like boots, and I've got quite a few pair of them, and I want to show you this pair here. These are JK SUPERDUTY'S. These are 10 inches tall. They're all brown, rough out bottoms, smooth uppers, all leather. These are really nice boots. They're super comfortable. I've had these about 5 months and bought them in August, and it's late December now, close to Christmas. You can see here JK custom boots. These aren't customs. I just ordered these in my size, had to be fitted for them. They fit me like a glove. They have the best arch of any boots I've ever had. I have a pair of these SUPERDUTY'S, obviously, and I've got a pair of JKOTs over there as well, and they're 8 inches tall. They don't have this sole like this. They got what's called a unit sole. These are red X soles, which means they're supposedly, I think they call them fire and ice. Maybe you can correct me in the comments if you leave them, but there's the red X right there. It's kind of worn off, but I guess you can still kind of see that it's red. But this is a two-piece sole. You can see that this got this piece right here, and then over here it's got this piece, just the heel, and it's got a stack of 4 layers there of leather. It's kind of hard to see, but you can see the 1, 2, 3, 4 there. And the OT just has what's called a unit sole, so it's not a 2-piece, it's just 1 piece. It has no leather stack here, and they're kind of nice. It also, the OTs don't have this full leather midsole right here. It has a midsole that ends about here and goes back. So the idea is that this is lighter and a lot more flexible in this area right here. But these are really flexible already because I've had them for about 5 months. Now, I broke these in completely. I've got hundreds of hours in these, and the first 2 months that I bought, maybe a month and a half when I had them, I was working 12 hours a day, 6 days a week. We were having a sale at work, and I didn't break these in slowly and just wear them a couple hours a day here and there like people recommend. I wore these from the jump, but I wear boots anyway, and I'm used to boots, so I didn't get any blisters. I didn't even get any hot spots. But these are all leather. Even the shank is leather on the inside. There's no steel shank. According to these Pacific Northwest bootmakers, that helps to not cause any kind of corrosion. You know, a metal shank can get wet and rust and cause all kinds of different decay and everything inside. And I don't know if it does with this anyway, but I'll tell you, this leather shank, I step on shovels and ladder rungs at work, climbing up to the top of the hoppers at the concrete plant right in this area here, and I don't feel that at all. These boots are amazing. Same with the OTs. I just don't feel it at all. Now, the only thing in this boot, and I'll give you a little show of what isn't leather, the rest is leather. Now, these normally come with leather laces, or those would be leather too. These are iron laces, and I just feel like leather laces will break on me, so I'm a little nervous about using them. They are more comfortable, but I'm scared they'll break. I get my feet wet all day, every day, immediately, and I just don't want them to break. And these are great. They stay tied. I don't have to double knot them or anything. So tie them once and they stay all day. Now, the only things on these boots that aren't leather is these eyelets right here that you can see. These stitches all the way around. Double stitching here. The sole, front and back. And you can see the screws. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 screws in there. And apparently there's over 30 nails in there per sole. And then there's glue. The rest is leather. And there's a channel called Rose Anvil on YouTube. If you haven't seen him, I encourage you to go over and give him a look and subscribe. He's an amazing channel, but he takes boots and he usually cuts them in half long ways this way. So he'll do it with a little blade, and he'll go right up there, and then he'll kind of fold them from side to side, and then he'll take a bandsaw and go right down the middle. And it's really cool because when he opens it up, you can see how thick the layers of leather are in this little area right here. And these things have the biggest arch of any boot I've ever had. So there's close to an inch of leather inside there that you're standing on. Now, the reason that's good is because that leather is very hard at first, and it's got a nice arch and it's contoured, but it's not contoured to your foot. So after you wear these for a little while, you'll get your footprint in there really deep. If you stick your hand down in there, you can feel my footprint, and it's real. It's nice and thick and deep, where when I stick my foot in there, it's a snap into place. And if somebody else was to stick their foot in there, they would feel my footprint. Like, it's amazing. It actually feels like if you were to stick your foot in cement and pick it up, and you would see a footprint there. That's what's inside these. I wish I could show you. I just don't have a way to get down in there. But these are the most comfortable boots that I've ever had. And they're stiff at first, but after breaking them in, you can see they're very bendable. This area up here, everything's real nice. If you look at this one right here, the left boot, you can see how nice the inside of it here is, all nice and broken in. All the bottom here, I'll try to get a good picture of how they look after 5 months of super hard use. Now, I wear these every single day. I don't mean sometimes. Like, I wear these all day, every day. I live in these boots at work, and I work pretty hard. And I work at a landscape construction and excavation yard. I drive equipment around, the smaller equipment, the 1/2 yard and 1 yard buckets, and then we have a couple of larger loaders, which they're 3 yard and 3.5 yard buckets. But I'm in those a lot. That I digress. But I'm getting off and on of those, and that takes my left boot. There's a pad to get on the loaders, and it's like a waffle stomp pad of iron, and you can see here it just destroys the bottom. You can see how ripped up and chewed up those are right there. They just got little marks in them and everything, but they're doing fine. I didn't think that would happen to these Red X100 lug soles. You can see the right one has no problem at all, but I got a little chunk taken out of the back there. But these are a little more than half maybe of the sole, and I want to get them resold when it's time, but I wanted to send them to JK to do that. I'll show you the right one here, condition, while I'm telling you this, and then the left one. But I want to get these resold over at JK, and they used to do that. And what they would do is just take this piece off right here, all the way around, take it all off, and they would put a new heel on and a new sole here, and stitch it all back together and re-screw it back in, and you'd be good to go. And that's great, because you wouldn't have to break your boots in again, because they're a pain to break in. These took me about a month, to break in real nicely, to get them to this slipper status, even though they were wearable right off the jump. And they say that they don't need to have a break-in, but they definitely do. Within about 2 weeks, they started to get a nice little footprint in them, but nothing like it is now. But anyway, JK will only do a full rebuild now, because these are fully rebuildable. So if you was to cut something here or drop something on it and destroy this leather, they would just give you rebuild it for all new. And that what that looks like is they would take the bottom half of this boot. See if I can get it set up here for you. They would take the bottom half of this boot and only keep this top half here. All this smooth, they would keep the tongue, everything. And they'd give you a new kiltie. They would give you all new bottom here, for here down, all brand new. But the problem with that is, now you've lost that footbed that you've created in there that's molded to your foot. And that's only $220 with them, which is normally, they said, the price of a resole. But they're saying that you guys are getting such a good deal, this is what we're only going to do for now on, and we won't offer that resole package anymore. It's only a rebuild. Now, I don't think that's a good idea, because there's nothing wrong with these boots. They're in perfect condition, and they're broken in for me, and they're just the way I like them. Now I have to fully rebuild, re-break them in again from here down. All I get to have is that top. Well, that doesn't bother me anyway. That never did bother me. I didn't need to break that, and maybe I did a little, but it's the bottom that I really wanted to keep. And so my plan to have them rebuilt, I was just going to have my local cobbler put just a sole on them, but I've come to the conclusion that I don't like rough out leather, because when I drop water on it, I can watch it absorb straight in there. Like if you was to drop water on a sponge and you see it soak in, just go in about the size of a quarter, just drop, and then within 2 or 3 seconds, it totally absorbs in there on a sponge. The same exact thing happens to these. Now, They say on their YouTube channel that these are highly, highly water resistant boots, but not waterproof. Now, I work around water a lot and I get lots of dirt and mud on these. So I'll spray them real quick to get the mud off of there and just real quick. And that's fine with most other boots that don't have any rough out. They're just smooth boots all the way down, all Red Wings, all Danner, all that, all those other ones. I'll spray them. I have a pair of Nicks like that. And when I spray them, the water just runs off. If I was to stand in water for, 3 minutes or something, a couple of minutes, yeah, of course, they're going to get wet. None of them are waterproof. None of these ones are. But these ones immediately get wet. If I spray them for just 2 or 3 seconds, my feet within 1 minute are fully soaked. I'd go as far as to say that these and my OTs, rough outs, and any rough out boot that I have are the opposite of waterproof. Now, that being said, they're not uncomfortable when they're wet. You would think that they would be terrible. Your feet are wet, your socks are wet, your boots are wet. They're not that bad. It's kind of weird. They're still very comfortable. They don't, when they get wet like that, and I do that nearly every single day, they don't lose their shape. They don't stretch different. They don't change the way they feel. When they dry out, I don't have to worry about them feeling different or being ruined. They never change. They're just the same and just as comfortable. Now, all that being said, the reason that I'm sending them in and not having my cobbler do it, and here's what I was going to say, is that I don't like this rough out, so I'm going to have JK rebuild these for that $220, and I'm going to have this, of course, is going to stay brown, but this is all going to be black. And it's going to be smooth instead of rough out. So it'll be smooth uppers and black smooth lowers. I'm going to have the same bottoms here with this 4-stack heel, but these, instead of being Red X, are going to be the honey soles. And that's going to be the same price. And then they'll be more waterproof for me, and I'm going to have my perfect boot, right? I'm going to have the same thing done to my OTs, but built as I'm going to have those turned into the Super Duty S, which means that the instead of the OT having just a half midsole like I was explaining earlier, they're going to have a full midsole, and they're going to have only 2 stacks instead of 4 here. So they'll look like this, but they'll have a 2-stack heel here, and I can't wait to get those. But I'm also going to have the black smooth done on those with honey soles. Now, once I do that, and these are my perfect boot, then when I wear out the sole, I can have my local cobbler just put a new sole on, and I'll be just fine. So yeah, these are the perfect boots. I encourage everybody to try these, and they're fantastic. Any of the Pacific Northwest boots are going to be absolutely great when you get them. In my opinion, these are probably the fastest breaking in boots that I've had, and they're still very comfortable. And I was a little skeptical at first, but I'm not anymore. These are I'm a JK where I've got 2 pair, and I'm going to order another one, and possibly I want to get their I can't remember what it's called now. Shoot. But it's kind of a lifestyle boot. It looks kind of like the blacksmith from Red Wing, except it's obviously a lot better. Now, I'm also going to get JK Western. Now, the Westerns aren't built here in America like these. These are built up in, I think, Spokane, Washington. But the JK Western, which is cowboy boots, are actually built down in Mexico. I guess they're designed here in the United States, possibly up in Spokane, but they're built in Mexico. Now, they feel a lot lighter in quality than these, and I don't think they have that leather moldable insole, but they're so comfortable, and I'm willing to give them a shot. They're a lot less money than these, but they look very well built, and I've seen a lot of great reviews on them, or at least the video reviews that I've seen are good. I haven't seen any bad ones, to be honest. Now, I want to speak on these, the only issues that I've had with these. And I had an issue with the Super Duties and an issue with my OTs. Now, I ordered my OTs first. They're about 8, maybe 9 months old. I guess about 8 months. These are 5. Got these in August. When I got my OTs, they sized me at the store at a 9D on the Brannock device. Now, these are completely sized weird. So, you know, I showed on the Brennick about an 11.5, you know, in a shoe, an 11.5D. So they said, no, these run really big. They're weird sizing. They have their own sizing. So I wear a 9D. So they sent me a 9D in the OT, and it didn't fit at all. My toes were coming through the end. They were way too tight. I couldn't get them laced. They were just horrible. But I thought, well, I need to break them in. This is what size they said. I should trust them. Well, I wore them to the concrete plant, got them completely messed up and dirty. And, you know, their policy states that if they get dirty or they look like they've been worn, then they won't return them. Well, I happen to have a local store here to me. There's not too many JK stores, retail stores, but I do have one up here in Northern California. So I brought them in there, and the lady in there listened to me. She didn't roll her eyes, anything. She literally just said, well, we'll just give you a different pair. So she resized me and said, why don't you try a 9.5 double E? Now, I still wear an 11 shoe and, you know, maybe a 10.5 boots, but I was willing to give it a try. And when they came, I'm telling you, they were fantastic. I couldn't believe how comfortable they were right off the jump for being such a heavy, durable boot. Now, one of the other things that was wrong with the OTs is on the left one. I should have stuck my hand down in there to check, but there was one of those I talked about. There's 30 nails or so in here and all them screws. I don't know if it was a nail or a screw, but it was sticking up in there enough that when I slid my foot in and slammed my foot down to stand up to lace them up, it actually poked through my sock and into my foot, and I was bleeding. And now, when I say I was bleeding, I mean it was a little drop. It was like getting one of those little tacks to get your blood sugar checked. So let me not get ahead of myself. I wasn't like in agony. I didn't need to go to the hospital. No stitches, nothing like that. No ambulance, just a little drop of blood. But these are supposed to be checked over. In fact, they came with a certificate that said everything, you know, was checked over, and quality, craftsmanship, looks, everything, you know, appearance. All you have to do is wear them. Well, that was a big miss, but they are hand built, and I was willing to forgive that. I brought them back in, even though they were dirty. She handed me a new pair, and they were great. Wore them, been wearing them ever since. Fast forward a couple of months, in August, I picked these up. I ordered them, same size as the OTs. They were 9.5 double E. I tried them on in the store, but they were a different color, so I didn't want them. So I ordered this brown, got them, and then I had a real bad issue. If you look right here, sorry, I messed up there, but if you look right here, where this gets sewn onto this, you see these 4 stitches right here, there's a lip right here. Well, if you can imagine on the inside at the top of that, this piece right here has that same lip right here on the inside, on both sides. Plus there's a liner for the inside there. Well, it took up so much space down in there, it's hard to see. But it took up so much space down in there. Gosh, I'm hoping that it would give me a good thing to look at so you can look down in there. Nope, it's not going to. But anyways, it took up so much space down in there that I couldn't get my foot in. They were smashed together and those things were sticking out. And I couldn't get my foot in. It was actually hurting. So once again, I had an issue, and I brought them back to the store there. And you would think that me being a 2-time customer bringing back the boots, that they would look at me sideways, think that I was just kind of causing problems, but she never gave me that feeling at all. Even if she was thinking it, I can't imagine she was, because I literally didn't feel that way. And that's not normal at a retail store. You know, they don't like returning things at retail stores, especially shoes and boots, but they didn't ask any questions. She handed a pair over because in that time that I waited, they actually got some in my size. They had a couple pairs in brown. So I tried them on and they fit like a glove. So I've had them ever since. Now, I might have had a problem with those 2 pairs, but they took care of it without any problems. Got a new pair. These ones, been wearing them ever since. I have no issues with these other than they're rough out, but I knew that when I got them, and it is more durable and more abrasion resistant, they say. But I have some shoes that are not rough out, and I don't have any problems with them. So anyway, that's my 10-inch JK Super Duties, and I hope you enjoyed that video. And real quick, I just want you guys to know that I started a new channel called This Old Boot, and it's on YouTube. I hope everybody goes over there and checks that out and subscribes. Thank you for watching. This is Jason, and this is the Fishkins channel. Have a wonderful evening. Take care, guys.